We have awful, awful news. And by awful, I mean something everybody may have probably expected ever since the Byte by Night maintenance started. And simply, we shall swap the screen. Wow, so easy. I've never done that before, by the way. Anyway, as you can probably read here, it's delayed. Although it doesn't say how long it's delayed. But in short, they are trying their best to get the maintenance and the update done with on a not as soon as possible, but by a reasonable margin. At least that's as far as I can guess. Which brings not many problems. I mean, I've been fine with the maintenance so far. The withdrawals have started to kick in about 5 days after the maintenance started. And now I'm basically clinging to the edge of my seat, waiting to play by Night again. And it's probably not going to happen for a while. I was going to live stream the update. Supposedly. It was in theory. I wasn't very certain about it. I even drew a thumbnail for it, which I will be using once the update does come out. It's just most likely going to be a recording and not a live stream on YouTube. Because, you know, I'm not even there. I have, like, what, six or, I'm not saying that number, amount of subs, presuming. I'm not going to double check, but we're still in the single digits. Why would I even live stream? I'm better off just doing what I have been doing. I have been trying to find a flow, and I think there has been some sort of flow. But now, with me using an editing system instead of using the YouTube editor, I can pretty much just put whatever I want in there. So, if I can, I'll do what I must for this update to gain traction after this long, long period of nothing. I have been speculating. Fuck, I've been speculating that the play count of Bye Bye Night is probably going to be much lower than it was before. You'd see it drop to like 20k when people who have lives have stuff to do. But now that 20k is probably going to get cut in half to about 10k. Because at this rate, by the time the maintenance ends, no one's going to be aware of it. Because there are still people who actively go into the Discord server just to ask questions for things that could be easily answered. And I did watch this other video about some guy talking about the issues they personally had with Bite by Night and their take on all that. I thought it was really good. And I've been trying my absolute best to gather the opinion and word input of people who do play the game, especially more notable figures that you'd see in the ASIM scene. Of course, I don't go to them directly and ask them, hey, what do you think about this thing? I just watch their shit and gather as much as I can. So, at this rate, it's possible that people might try to leave Bite by Night in the dust, and I don't want that. So, just know that once this maintenance is over, once this game's newest update does come out, assuming that there's less lag with it, let's just assume there is. I'm going to assume there's less lag. I will get something out as soon as I possibly can. Maybe one that's less edited, and then maybe another one that has more to it. Because if you really think about it, I dabble in about as much as I can to gather as much of a skill set or harness as much understanding as I can. That's why I doodle. That's why I craft quote unquote music, and why I game as hard as I do. But one thing that has always stood true is my appreciation and passion for the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. Because even then, that comes with its own issues. And the more main factor of that whole ordeal is the fans, quote unquote, that just like to come out of nowhere and say Scott Cawthon is a bad writer or something like that. And honestly, who cares? This is going to be the same exact thing, because all I see are people just going, ooh, the devs said they'd be more transparent. And then they go silent for. Who cares? They've even repeated it in this announcement. Like, we aim to be transparent as possible, and we're doing the best we can. I believe them. I have zero reason to not believe them. But there are so many people in the general chat that will find every reason to not believe them. And it's kind of sad. I just wish people would be able to band together just a little bit more, or just be able to suffer through things as a single unit. There's so many things that just pull people apart, especially simple opinions. On the other hand, I can't wait for Bite by Night to be our maintenance. And I can't wait to play it again. So, to anything out there, any Bite by Night devs up in the clouds right now that can hear my words spiritually. I think I said that wrong still, but who cares? I believe in you guys. Take as much time as you want, because I'm going to be sitting here frothing at the mouth, spazzing on the ground, chewing the carpet, just scratching at the floorboards. I don't know. I'm going to be doing anything while I wait for the game to come back, and I will play it, and I will be happy, and I will not complain, like 99% of the community loves to do. But I will still make funny jokes and rage bait people. Rage bait, quote unquote. It used to be called trolling, by the way, you fucking uncultured